Welcome to the I Am Not Trash podcast, you guys. We are talking trash again today, but this time it's a little different. In March, I am going to dive deep into what the green people call reduce, reuse, and recycle. In the green community, that's all you hear: reduce, reuse, recycle. But what really is that? And today, and starting in March, I'm going to focus on the reducing part and how you, as a consumer, as a mom, as a wife, can reduce the clutter in your life and get that organization started. And what better way to do that than introduce my podcast guest today, Ingrid Lopez. Ingrid is the owner and founder of Organizing by Ingrid. It's an Atlanta-based company, but let me tell you, she travels, you guys. You need to reach out to her or me after this podcast if you're interested, but she is the one and only. She has helped me so much, you guys, and I am so excited to have you today, Ingrid. Thank you for your time, and I can't wait to talk to you.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm very excited.
Awesome, thank you. So tell us just a little bit about how you got interested in organizing and a little bit about your business.
Yeah, I started my organizing business 12 years ago. And the funny story is, I used to work as a nanny for a wonderful family. And when the kids were sleeping, I always were organizing their kitchen or their closet or anything in the house. And then one day the mom asked me, she said, "Oh my gosh, you have a talent. You should start your own business." And the funny thing was, I was like, "Do you think somebody will actually pay for it?" And she said, "Yes, definitely." Then I did start, working on the weekends, just doing organizing products for a lot of her friends. And that's just how it started. And from there, we grow the business to start, staging and unpacking, helping with the moves and packing also, and organizing their new home. So yeah, it's definitely keep, growing, and it's just exciting, and I love what I do. And yeah, that's just, how it started.
Well, you can definitely tell that you love what you do. It shows in your work and it shows in your abilities. When she comes over, it's like this fairy has come and just made my life so much easier. One thing I've noticed, you're my fairy. One thing I've noticed about, as a mom and as a mom with children with dyslexia and, ADHD sometimes, we have to have structure. And I think it's so important what you do. And as a consumer myself, learning how to declutter your home. So what would be, I guess, like the first thing a mom should do if they wanted to start this process? Let's say they couldn't afford to have you, or they don't have someone in their area like you. What do they need to do to start?
I would definitely say start small, because you don't want to start any kind of big project like, taking on your whole entire closet and, getting it done in one day, because as a busy mom, you definitely don't have time for it. I would say if you want to organize your kitchen, start with one cabinet, start with one drawer, take everything out, wipe it off, categorize everything, and then definitely declutter. Declutter, it's number one. And you can repurpose items also. If you have any kind of baskets, you don't need them in one room, you can repurpose them in a different room. But decluttering, it's the number one thing. If you declutter, the less you have to purchase to contain stuff.
Right.
Yeah, the less you have to organize, the less time you have to spend organizing things, and then keep cleaning up, things. So definitely decluttering, it's the number one thing. And then from there, you just really do one thing at a time. Don't overwhelm yourself with trying to get a kitchen done in one day.
I think that's big. I think within life, we all need to just take one step at a time. I think that's great advice.
Yes.
What are ways? Okay, so I'm not going to give any names. My mom, who will not get rid of anything, and I love you, Mom.
Uh-huh.
But you don't. She loves to keep stuff. It's
Yeah.
going to use it one day, right? So how does someone
Yeah.
like her get over that hump of not being able to get rid of things? I mean, how do you
It is
do that?
very difficult. It
Yeah.
is difficult because I had a client for years and years, and it was really difficult every time for her to purge and getting rid of stuff. And then one day I told her, I said, I love working with you. I love coming back, but you are wasting your money. And that's not why I'm doing this. I'm not, I want to help you. I want you to be successful and getting this house organized. But if we don't start decluttering, you are just wasting money on me coming back.
Yeah.
And then she really took it in. And the last time I went, she just got rid of so much. But it took her maybe 4 years to really get to that place, constantly calling me coming back and fixing things over and over again and moving clutter from one place to another because it was so hard for her to get rid of it.
Right.
But then she finally realized, she's like, oh my gosh, Ingrid, I just cannot do this anymore. I really need to let it go. And she did. And it was great. But really, for a lot of people, if they don't let it go, they just need more space. They need more storage. They're spending more money on containers. They're spending a lot of their time looking for stuff. Doesn't they really need to realize the less you have and you only keep the things you love, you will just feel so much better and more peaceful in your own home.
Well said. I mean, it is just so true about that we don't need as much as we think we need. And that's why I thought to start this March series of reducing. I don't know if I've gotten into it with you, but I talk about recycling a lot. And that's my platform as Mrs. USA Earth, especially water bottles, but recycling. And what I'm finding is the main thing is reduce the amount that we use. So that's
Yes.
a really good point to bring up. Speaking of plastic, I like plastic containers in a way when we store things because you can see through them. But knowing
Yeah.
that plastics are not good for us, for our environment, what are some really good non-plastic storage items that we could maybe use to organize with?
Yeah, I love to use like bamboo drawer dividers or bamboo, you know, containers. Only problem with them, yeah, you cannot really see through if you're using it in your pantry. But we also use labels. Doesn't that really, can make it better? Like for example, like these, dividers for
I
the
love
drawers,
that.
they are made out of bamboo. And I think they are great. They are stackable. You can stack them if you have a deep drawer. They are wonderful.
Yeah.
Also, I love to use these, drawer dividers when you have
Yeah.
pots or, any kind of, mixing bowls and things like that, just to divide it a little bit. Or glass jars, really glass jars with bamboo lid. I think it's great too. Then you just really getting rid of the plastic. I mean, I know as an organizer, we definitely do use a lot of plastic and I don't like it personally either, but it is because we can really see in. And I'm trying to lately, really replace it with the bamboo products or glass products, or different baskets. Like, for example, you can do baskets like these in
Oh, those are
pantries or
pretty.
in different rooms.
Yeah.
And we just use simple label, clips and put labels on it. And then you can still know what's inside. You just don't see it, but it looks nicer and cleaner anyway.
Well, I was about to say that because when I have used the clear containers, everything unfortunately, we can set up a time and you and I can organize it and put it so nicely in there. But my 12-year-old and 7-year-old and my husband, they're not going to, they're not going to take the time to line up those medicine bottles like you and I do. And they're
Yes.
not going to, they just throw it in. They do get the right bin, fortunately. So I think personally, the bamboo would be a much better choice because of that alone. I don't want to see that
Definitely.
clutter inside there. We spend so much time. Let's make it as neat as possible. So that's another reason to use bamboo or wooden or the baskets. I think that's brilliant.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, those are my, one of my favorites. But also you can find things at your home, you no longer using it for, like, for example, nobody use teapots anymore, those little tea cups and things like that. But you can use them to organizing different things in your drawers. You can just really repurpose a lot of things from your house. Doesn't that's number one thing. Maybe before you go to container store, any kind of store to get containers, look around your house and try to find something you can reuse before you spend a lot of money on organizing products. But because they are definitely not cheap, it does adds up
It adds up.
when you have to organize your entire home.
Right.
And just look around your house and find something and just reuse it.
Again, that's the whole purpose. I want to instill in my viewers' brains, let's reuse things that we can. In
Yeah.
fact, like one of the things I've been reusing a lot are mason jars. I
Yes.
love a mason jar. I'm from the South, so we love anything in a mason jar. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
organizing in the pantry with mason jars, that would be a good idea. You could do even in your office. They do kind of look chic now in a way. They have that shabby
Yes,
chic
they
look,
do.
So you
Hmm.
could put pencils. I have a whole mason jar full of pencils. And that's a
Yes.
really good, easy, cheap way to do some organizing as well.
Yeah, definitely. Even like candles, if you clean them well and you have a nice glass, after the candle it's gone, you can reuse it for holding pens or your
Oh,
makeup brushes and things like that. You definitely can reuse stuff.
I
And
like
that
it.
should be first thing to do. It's just try to look for stuff. And if I do buy organizing products for my clients, I'm definitely trying to purchase things they can reuse it in any room. Like I don't like to buy something it's so in at the moment,
Right.
I just really try to start with this, keep the neutral, and they can use it in a bathroom, they can use it in a kitchen, in a pantry, in a kid's craft room. Just really try to keep things or buy things you really use in anywhere in a house.
I think that's a really good idea. Do you see a connection of people's homes and their organizing to their personal lives? That's kind of a
uh
question, but I don't know. I thought maybe
I
that might.
mean, I do, if I see somebody being always late, then I'm assuming that person might not be so organized because they constantly probably looking for their keys or looking for something. They try to be on time, but if you're constantly looking for something and you're missing something, then you might not be as organized as you can be.
Right.
But yeah, that's it's not every time, you
Yeah.
can really tell from the person if that's the case.
Well, we have a really nice little keychain that says keys by our door. So I'm hoping
That's
that will
great. I
continue
know
to be
that's
crazy.
always helps. Yeah, to have it really place. I mean, you are well organized already. Yeah.
Well, thank you. I love it. It's something like you were talking about. You just do it. It comes naturally. Like it's just something that's in me.
Mhm.
I can't focus and I can't get my routines down if my home is not organized and in a
Yes,
good working condition. That's really important.
I'm the same
So
way. I feel overwhelmed if my house is not in
exactly.
order.
Yeah, it really, I would remember being in school and not even being able to start my homework or my work even as an adult until my bed was made and until my home was
Yeah,
organized.
yeah, exactly. Same way.
Well, just as we're going to end real quick, I just want to ask you, I think one of my biggest problems that I face is the children and how they are
Mhm,
not organized. It's hard to say, 7-year-old's organized or a 12-year-old. I mean, 12-year-old
mhm.
needs to be starting to be organized, right? But how can I instill that in them? Like, how can I get them to want to be organized? I mean, it's sort of hard to teach that. So I'm going to lean on
It
you.
is hard, but what I notice with my son is, you need to be example. If you put everything away, eventually they might learn to putting things away, like, or you keep repeating same thing over and over again. Like if he pours a cereal, I always say, put the milk away. And and I keep saying it every morning, and he does it now. It's just things like that. When you keep telling them things over and over again, they eventually will actually do it.
Right.
And then if they see you really being somebody who does put things away, then they will end up, doing the same thing. But if you are somebody who end up leaving everything everywhere, and that's the biggest problem with organization, if you don't put things back
Right.
right away, then yeah, your house will become again disorganized and big mess. So number one thing is, like, after you do organize, put things away. Simple milk, put it away, put the
So
bread
important.
away, put
Do it right. Yeah.
unload the dishwasher, get things, just keep it, nice and clean. It goes with the organization because, and if take the time to put it in the right place, that's why you're organizing it in the first place. So, I think eventually if you just keep repeating yourself, the kids will get it. They will get there, not in a big way, like they will start organizing things themselves, but they like to things, in place.
I think so too. And, I love this. I'll just end on this one quote that you said one time that I'll never forget it. And I love it. She said, everything has a home. And once you get that in your mind, after you reduce and
Yeah,
declutter, everything has a home. So as you're setting something down on the counter and you say, "Oh, I'll put it away later," just remember everything has a home. And try to
exactly.
avoid, Tom always says, try to avoid the miscellaneous drawer.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I do not like miscellaneous chores. If I don't have to put miscellaneous on any, I will never do that because that's not organization. You can have every basket could be miscellaneous. I mean, the more categories you make, the better, because then
Right.
you really have a home for everything. And if you don't have, just a lot of people also shop in like Costco. If you don't have the space, do not shop in Costco,
I've
and
had to get rid of my Costco card for that reason.
yeah. I mean, I don't have the space. That's I don't go to Costco. But a lot of people still, I had clients who downsize and they still go in Costco. It's like, you don't have the closets anymore. You don't have the storage anymore. You cannot keep doing that. You just have to stop. Be
Right.
honest with yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I think the lesson learned from this conversation, and I'm so thankful for your time, is to really look at what you need and what you don't need. And in March, as we start our spring cleaning and start decluttering, let's really start to try and declutter our lives and
Yes.
declutter our closets. And just want to also end with, please make sure to recycle those items the right way. Don't just throw all your plastic that you're decluttering into the trash can. Look up on your local government website. They will tell you specifically how to get rid of large items and all different types of non-recyclable items. So please make a point to do that, you guys. And thanks for your listening. And we're going to talk trash again later, but we want to thank Miss Ingrid Lopez, for her time.
Thank
And
you.
if you want to look her up, I will put her link on this post and you can look up her on social media and touch base with her. Thank you, Ingrid.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.